Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Labyrinth Refrain, Captain of Dusk. So, last we left off, we had a few people at level 99, and I went through the effort of, doing the soul transfers and all that, and the next batch I had, pretty much it was Shinabushis and Reapers for my entire party makeup. One of my Shinabushis was still using a crossbow in the back row, one of the Reapers was still using, like, other weapons besides scythes. Essentially, it was more of the same. It was just me acting first and killing things with just raw physical damage. So what I did is I grinded through everything. So at this point, I have done all the soul transfers I need to do. Originally, I was a little hesitant to do it because for some reason I misread the guide and thought there was another tier of the moon and sun options for whatever reason. Kind of like how there's the flats and sharps, there's double sharp and double flat. I thought there was a double moon and double sun, but there isn't. So, with that taken care of, I did all the soul transfers for the 8 characters I've been working with. So, I'll talk a little bit about where I went grinding, but here's our formation. So, a few things to note about the pincer formation is it requires to have 2 vanguards, all the way on the far ends. So for example, if I move this down like this, even though it's technically the same shape, it's classified as a convoy instead of a pincer. So, and pincer is a lot more useful to me than convoy. I'm sporting 3 covens, mainly because I don't really need, I just don't need the other 2 slots. I have the White Rose pack, which we're all familiar with. One of them has 3 marginal mazes. So I got Mei Ling, Lily Black, and Momiji. And then I created a bunch of new puppets. I went ahead and used my high tier souls for whatever reason, because I had them. But for the most part, the only reason these are around is because of the donum master skill. Increases donum damage by 13%, stacks with other party members. I heard this works in the back row, so just having them around just boosts my damage. Also, them hanging around the back row, they're already level 99. Anyway, so yeah. Pretty standard stuff. They're my spellcaster group. The entire formation has over 5,000 donum points, which is more than enough to cast endlessly. I do have them in the front row. Lamps can be used both front row and back row. And in order for me to satisfy the pincer formation, I needed them in the front row. Gear-wise, though, they have pretty decent equipment. I pretty much focus purely on donum power over anything else, so that's why they probably have some of the stuff that used to be on my physical damage dealers, simply because those particular items had donum power on them. So, pretty standard stuff. As far as relics are concerned, we got the sturdy Fur Charm that provides 274 donum power. The familiar Velcorana neck, which provides a ton of stats, including 234 donum power, and then the Refrain amulet, which of course provides 180. And then of course the rest is either just raw defense or attack, but otherwise I'm trying to focus on donum power. As for their skills, since I was transferring across 4 or 5 classes, at this point I have everything that I pretty much want to use. The guide, the only thing the guide gives it mentions is you can either go Eclipse or you can go Lamp Master. I went in Eclipse simply because my proficiency with Lamp was already at like S+, I think, or whatever it was. But yeah, you got the 2 base ones. You got Donum Master and Tenacious Donum for donum damage and even more donum power. Slippery for avoiding attacks, Dismember for increased chance to critical core, just like everyone else. Increased crit damage, as long as you're using an S+ weapon, which I'm pretty sure I am. Yeah, S+. So yeah, the main reason why they're S+ is because of the double sharp and the moon. Actually, I think it's the moon that does it. Anyway, Stubbornness allows them to survive at 1 hit point at one time. Improve agility so they can act faster. Swiftness, they act even faster. Heroic stance for additional crit. Donum efficiency to reduce donum cost. Eclipse, just for 25% chance to ignore 25% of their defense when attacking, and then squishy body is when they're at full hit points. The first hit they take will be at reduced damage. So they're relatively beefy. As you can see, they're over 6,000 HP, and that's mainly because, of course, their soul clarity levels are through the roof. That is one thing I've noticed. Did I miss something? Their soul clarity should be higher. Yeah, it should be 99. I don't know why it's not. I'm fairly certain I didn't miss anything, so I don't know why it's not. It should be at 99, unless it just caps at 80. But yeah, for some reason it's not consistent. Oh, I guess it caps at 80. Maybe it caps at 80. The 77s, I think, is because characters at level 1, or that start at Soul Clarity 1, don't reach the max through 5 soul transfers, I don't think. So, they're good enough. Let's just say it that way. But yeah, as far as the skills are concerned for the... I believe all the casters have the same. Yes, it's just different order. Alright, then as far as the White Rose pact itself, it just provides, 48% boost to attack, defense, hit, and avoid. The back row doesn't really matter that much. Just a chance to heal up once you hit 1 hit point. So what's kind of nice is they'll survive at 1 hit point, and then they'll get a little bit of health back, but usually it probably doesn't matter. And of course, White Rose Pact has the healing, the stat increases, and then of course the 3 elemental spells. Anyway, Charmer Pact. Now, I actually looked this up. The Charmer Pact is actually mistranslated. It says 50% of slotted character's charm will be deducted, but it's actually increased. So that's something to keep in mind. I've read different sources that says that this other slots also provide based off charm, but I've also read that it's not based off charm. But for the most part, for these characters, all the bell users, the theatrical stars, I kind of try to focus on charm, but I don't actually exactly have a lot of charm items. And as for the back row, 15% of hit, 15% of defense, hit, and avoid. So they have some equipment that's just standard stuff to kind of boost that up a little. Anyway, as for them, I believe I might have messed up a skill with some of these ones. Yeah, I did. I messed up one of their skills, I think. But yeah, so one of the things I did is theatrical stars start with healing chime, and I think it's called love, hate, love, or something like that. I actually got rid of it. You can actually get rid of your base skills if you get too many. So that's one of the ones I got rid of. But essentially, healing chime, bellmaster, dual expert, slippery for avoid, dismember as usual, fancy footwork. So every time they dodge, they get increased attack power. That's something we're pretty familiar with. Tenacious speed, heroic stance, so increased agility, increased crit, increased dexterity, cursed chime, which increases resonant chance, but it doesn't attract aggro, improved charm, and then anti-donum heresy, which increases your increases donum consumption, but it also increases your attack damage. Some of these have shadow step, simply because while I was leveling up really quickly, I discarded certain skills I didn't actually want to discard. So, Ryson here does not have fancy footwork, and so she has Shadow Step, which just increases the chance of attacks missing her. But Alice does have fancy footwork. So yeah, pretty standard stuff. And as for equipment, all of them are dual-wielding bells. I didn't have a lot of bells, so I've been just kind of synthesizing them as I go along. Ryson, of course, gets boosted based off charm, so I gave her all the high charm gear. So everything that provides it, Luke King's Ring. I made a slight adjustment. I gave Ryson Luke King's Ring because they provide a bunch of other stats. Technically, the highest charm relic I have is the Central Bloomers, which is 300 charm. And to be honest, I don't think these 2 slots actually need them, so I'm going to go ahead and switch them to something else. I have anything. Nope. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna give them the Mighty Pandies instead. There you go. which I have tons of, by the way. So that takes care of all that. Charmer Pact, of course, like as one we haven't actually used before, has the following donum powers. You have one that has a charge rate of 1. It hits one enemy for blunt and piercing. That's about it. Greatly lowered defense for all enemies for 5 rounds. Another this one's 5% cost. Reduces blunt and piercing resistance for 4 rounds. Reflect piercing. Absorb, it does blunt damage to an enemy group and it heals you. And then reduced axe speed, but at the cost of 5% of your health to all enemies. Alright, and then I have another White Rose Pact that has all Aster Knights. And any of my spare characters I just put in these slots as well. So one new face, well not really a new face, but a face that's been in our back row for a while is Kasen. She's only been through 4 soul transfers now. Which actually might explain why hers is lower. Yeah, she's at 58, and that's because of the lower soul transfer. But yeah, essentially 3 Aster Knights. All of them have dual wielding, and all of them are dual wielding different weapons. Shanghai is using lances, Kokum is using hammers, and Kasen is using swords. Some of their skills got messed up as well, but it's not too big of a deal. So, Warspire for extra crit rate with lances, Stubbornness to survive 1 hit point, Lance Master of course, Heroic Stance for crits, dual wielding, Anti-Donum Heresy, so you're sacrificing Donum for additional attack power, Dismemberer, Reckless Blows as usual, Improved Blood Flow increases attack by 25%, Tenacious Fingers, which is more dex, Bypass Armor, ignore 25% of defense when HP is full, and then Armor Piercing. Some of them are missing, Kokuma is missing Armor Piercing, I believe. Yeah, she's missing Armor Piercing, so instead she is using Hammer Master, just to have an extra proficiency. And then Kasen has Hammer Master, and I think she's missing something as well. She is missing... What is she missing? You have Tenacious Fingers. Oh, there it is. She has Hammer Master, never mind. Wait, what is she missing then? I am slightly confused. They definitely both have that. Heroic Stance. Oh, she doesn't have Heroic Stance, and that's because she just didn't hit that class. So yeah, pretty standard stuff. We know what the White Rose Pack does. As far as gear, you can see this, dual wielding lances, sporting really high armor, unless of course unless the casters are using it. I got a legendary axe that had over 2,000 attack, and then I synthesized it, and it now has a little less than 4k. So she actually has capped out right-hand attack at all 9s, so it's pretty awesome. The only bad part is hammers are slow, and so she's usually the last one to attack. Other than that, it's pretty standard stuff. As for equipment, they're using Mighty Pandies, just for the extra extra stats. I was actually, so the back row characters are using Bloody Rings, just simply because those provide raw stats as well, but just the different ones. But yeah, pretty standard stuff. Sorry for the really long start. Other than that, there was a few new items. Nothing too special, but I'm going to go ahead and show them off anyway. So, Love Stationery we know about. I don't think there's any of the stuff in here. Nope, none of that stuff. So, it'll be the rotten egg. Huge potato. Who needs this much potato? Seriously, golden pear. This otherworldly fruit holds a mysterious power. It's also a pear. And then fried mouse chunks, which is fresh chunks of mouse meat lightly fried in hot oil. I still have yet to get any of the drops I need to actually, continue with the little quest I have. Something tells me I'm not going to get those done. There's one other drop I was trying to get. I did a few attempts, but I didn't get it. The FOE, that big bug monster that we fought like way back when, they have a chance of dropping a coven. I believe it's called the Tracti Coven, or the Tracti Pact, which is essentially gives like plus like 76% to the standard the standard stats. It's a 3-slot pact. I was going to use that for my Aster Knights, but I couldn't get it to drop, so I'm just going to continue on as this and just see what happens. We're not quite level capped, but we're pretty close. And as for where I did all my grinding, it was in this place. Pretty much I hung around here fighting at the 3rd tower and fought essentially the gold slimes that hang around here, which was a little difficult simply because the only thing that really hurts them is hammers, and hammers are slow. But the hero units, the hero gold slimes are worth like over like nearly 200,000 experience just by themselves, so it's really quick experience to grind here, and all the other encounters are pretty non-threatening. Also, the drops and stuff really helped out a lot as far as getting my characters geared up. So, a dead manifestation of Velcorana lay next to a pile of Funapoppets.
The Funapoppets I dispatched.
Madam Mazaluka, I've secured this ante-chamber.
Funa! You're still alive!
I'm glad you're safe.
After delivering her final report, the Funapoppet went limp and collapsed.
Oh. You all performed admirably. Thank you for your service. Okay, this is no time to be sad. Chakti, let's activate this antechamber. With this soul that has witnessed the worlds beyond, I bind this twisted dimension. I sacrificed so many Funapoppets. I would send them to search, and if I lost contact with them, I'd just create new ones. Over and over again. It always pained me to do that. They may be poppets, but they still act like living beings. They still had hearts. They may not have had a soul like Madame Dronia did, but they could still see, feel, and speak. They could still experience anger, fear, sadness, happiness. They all could. But I had no choice. I had to send them. Our resources were scarce enough already, and we'd already lost so many witches. But now that you're here, I can finally honor their sacrifice.
Flames surged from Mazaluka's fingertips, and the pile of Funapoppets ignited in a blaze of crimson fire.
Thank you. Thank you for your service, my Funas. Rest in peace.
Alright. New dungeon's been added. The mana density is slowly getting a little bit higher. Oh, actually, this one's only... yeah, it slowly gets higher. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to the base real quick just so I can save. I am actually completely broke as far as mana is concerned because synthesizing and also releasing seals is actually getting really expensive now. Good news is, since I only have 3 covens going, I have tons of reinforcement points to play around with if I ever need to just increase my stats like crazy. Alright, Astrum. We know about this place. It's place with all the gnomes. Moonlight Pact.
Battle start! Give him what for!
Velcorana minion in the mana prison.
Oh! There!
I know.
So the only bad part about this build is Since I no longer use Shinabushis or Reapers anymore, or Mad Raptors, my axe speed's a lot lower than it used to be. But my characters are super strong and can easily take the hits, so it's not the end of the world.
Step up if you want to.
Oh, two of them.
Here I go. Huh. Yeah. There.
Hut!
So,
Piece of cake.
it's been a while since we used any bell users, or theatrical stars rather. They attack entire groups, and when dual wielding it does the same thing.
Step up if
So-
you want to die.
Reasonable chance of attacking multiple times. Left root, right root, huh?
Oh, this. Yeah. Here I go. I hope this works. Oh. Oh.
Here I
So
come.
as you can see, it does it twice.
Here I come.
But it has to proc the dual blade
Please
first.
wait.
Alright.
That was easy.
Most of my attacks are now blunt, which is both good and bad. Obviously things that are resistant to blunt will be a little bit more difficult to deal with.
Ready or not. Wonderful.
I know.
I hope this works.
Here I come.
That was easy. I'm nervous. I'm all ready. Here I go. There. Here I come.
How disappointing.
Of course, slashing damage does well. I only have one character with slashing. Nature shift kind. That's one thing I consider doing, is figuring out each character's secret nature and seeing if I can turn it to something that's slightly more bearable or slightly more useful. The Astro Knights, I believe, are hot-blooded. The Theatrical Stars, I believe, are perverted. Yeah, perverted. And the what are they called? Marginal mazes are sticklers.
Let's begin.
This formation. Huh? Here I go. There. Coming. V for victory. Yay!
Okay.
Let's give it everything. Looks right. Coming. Here.
Here I come.
Yeah. Here. There.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so they can attack an entire covenant with physical damage and hit with an attack that does drain. Not a big deal.
Step up if
This formation. There.
I know.
Even though majority,
We won. Thanks to
so
me.
also all of my characters are double sharp. The theatrical stars are sun. Everything else is moon.
Here I go.
Despite number of my characters, majority of my characters being moon, they actually have decent HP now thanks to all of the soul transfers. They're just base stats are just so much higher now, so it just gives extra HP. Red crest. Ooh, what are you?
Step up if you want to
Oh,
die.
it's these guys. So these guys supposedly have the chance of dropping the track D back. I have had no luck on it, though. Also, I found out this thing's resistant to everything, which is kind of annoying.
Witness the power of donum.
I still do over 30,000 damage with donum powers.
I hope this.
Here I come. I see it.
All my spells do generally run the same amount of damage. I do lamp fog because it has a chance of doing poison. Mud fling has a chance of doing stench, and flame dance doesn't have anything.
Wonder there.
As you can see, the fight's a lot easier with proper setup. Press fragment. Alright, so we're back here. That's good.
May the stars wonder. Please wait.
Here I come.
Take here. Here I go. I hope this will. Right there. That was easy.
Yeah, so I don't have Reapers anymore, but those Bell use the theatrical. I keep calling them Bell users, but they're called theatrical stars. Yeah, get some work done. My overall physical damage is not as crazy as it used to be,
Do it like this.
and since I don't have as much variety, it also makes it seem a lot weaker.
Here I come.
Coming.
But I still pack enough. I still pack enough punch to actually kill most of the basic minions. And I guess the idea for the theatrical stars is they're supposed to just hang around and dodge a bunch of attacks and then get gradually stronger from the dodges. But if I use this technique on Valkorana, then... Alright. So I believe that's what the teleporter is. We're not going to go there yet. Sometimes humans find their way here, no matter. Okay. Did I miss any doors? Not yet, but there's some areas we still have to explore over here, so we're gonna do that. Yeah, I'm not that concerned about you guys.
May the stars bless this battle.
What is that? Canna Blossom, 20,000 HP. So the good news is, since all my characters have really high, all my characters in the Caster Coven has plenty of axe speed, they can actually get their spells off rather quickly, which is very, very useful. I want to do Lamp Fog just so I can hit everybody. Oh, the Caster is the same group. Sweet. I'll do Flame Dance then.
My favorite donum power.
There we go.
Victory!
That thing did get an attack off, but it didn't seem to do that much, thankfully. Don't mind me, just hopping across.
Battle start. We're all set, eh? Yeah. Piece of cake. I'm nervous. Oh, there. Yeah.
Witness the power of donum.
Yes, victory.
Okay, that's everything there.
Let's get started. Oh! Here I come! A stirring victory.
Once we hit level 99, I won't need to ever stockpile again. Which means I'll heal every fight. I'll leave the child. She is strong enough to buy some time. So far, all the breakable walls I can get around without having to actually break them. Like pact we've gotten already. What a fascinating one. Another portal. I'm just kind of getting the angle so I can see if that wall is actually useful, and it's not.
May the stars bless this battle.
This for...
Please wait.
Understood. Here I come.
Here I come. Victory!
I can't see enemies right now. Okay, we're off.
May the stars bless this. We're up there.
I know.
Hut! I hope this.
Here I come.
Take that! Take that! Here I go. V for victory! Yay! May the stars. I'm over.
So far I have found
Here I come.
teleporters.
Understood. How disappointing.
I think that's everything, isn't it? Nope, there's a door I missed. There's always a door I missed. It's all the way up there.
May the stars.
This...
Here I go. There. Eh? Here. Yeah.
Understood.
I hope this works. Here I come. Yay!
52,000
V
damage.
for victory! Yay!
There's also a path here. Okay, I think that's everything. Yep, okay, so just the door.
Let's get started. Oh! Huh? Here I come!
So far only one FOE.
Yes! Victory!
Seems a little out of place. Alright. So yeah, none of the breakable walls I need to actually do anything with, so we're good on that front. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and go for the closest teleporter, which is this one. Which took me to there. I see. On a whim, I was just checking to see if there was another teleporter. There wasn't. Okay,
Let's get started.
still stim, so I can't see anything.
Yeah!
Not a big deal,
That
though.
was easy. Let's get started. Oh!
Here I come.
Yes! Victory!
I'm gonna go ahead and cure the stench if I can. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and fight these.
Step up if you want to die. This form.
Yeah, yeah. Naughty, naughty. Here, yeah.
Hut!
I hope this.
So you can see every time I cast the spell, it just streams with
I see it.
donum mastery activating. It includes characters in the back row,
Yay!
which I haven't even mentioned their names, so I guess I should do that. So our back row for the spare casters is we got Star Sapphire, Sony Milk, Luna Child, Marissa, and Horai. Horai being, of course, a doll.
Let's begin.
I was not expecting two. Alright, I'm gonna focus them down.
Naughty, naughty. Ah!
Understood.
I hope this works. Twirl, twirl.
Were you?
You can't do that one. Here. Coming.
I see it.
Huh?
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and cast again.
I'm all. Yeah. Here I come. Yeah.
Witness the power of donum. Were you?
You can't do that one. Oh!
Yeah, for confusion. Alright,
How disappointing.
was not expecting that. Got a battle axe. I didn't get any packs though. So where are we? I see. Alright. Won't open. So we need to go through the other teleporter. Which is all the way in the bottom right. Yeah, the bottom right's the one I haven't done yet. And I'm poisoned. I actually don't have a lot to cure that. That's okay.
May the stars what? Here I go. I hope right there.
Here I come.
Coming. Here I come. A stirring victory.
Okay, that takes us to here. Get an ornate key, which we're not going to get. Okay. Wait. Then what's that door for? Won't open. We haven't encountered any switches. I'm just scanning the map. Yeah, I don't see anything else. I'm gonna cash out before I do anything though. Put a mud exit there while we're at it.
Let's get started. This.
I know.
Here I come. Oh my. Please wait.
Here I come.
Take that.
Were you?
Yeah. I hope this works. Right there.
How disappointing. I hear the.
Not bad. I did. Bad. I'm even.
My battle.
No. Oh my. No. Oh my.
Alright.
I'll prove my mettle.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, it tingles.
Alright, just making sure they're at max HP so they can get the full effects. The body of a minion of Velcorana lay crumpled on the floor.
Is this Bomb? He's the one who severed my connection to my Funapoppets. Who on earth? Maybe Zorok defeated him. Phew! One less battle to fight is alright by me. Let's activate this antechamber, Tracty. With this soul that has witnessed the worlds beyond, I bind this twisted dimension. Okay, Tracty. Maybe I should tell you a little more about Neldo and the others. Neldo wasn't from Tanis. He came from a different world entirely. Neldo said he was from a world called Yggdrasil. His people were owl spirits, and he was their king. His people had the power to traverse time and space. That's probably why Baba Yaga destroyed his world. Escaping the destruction of their world, Neldo and his younger sister made their way to Tanis. Zorak and I happened to find them, and we were able to help them. Did we do the right thing by helping them? I thought I knew. Now I'm not sure anymore. Oh, that's right. You also know Newton, don't you? Newton came from another world, but not the same one as Neldo. He claimed to be a great sage in his world. He was a pretty amazing man. Newton had been pursuing Baba for a long time. He could see her tyrannical ambitions and sadistic nature. He managed to pursue her to Campanula. I'm told their battle was quite vicious. But through her cunning and magical might, Baba was able to overcome Newton's intellect and defeat him. She managed to gain the upper hand by seducing the Fairy King into helping her. Filled with regret, Newton decided to stay in Refrain to keep watch for Baba. If Baba ever came back to the town to retrieve the key, he'd be ready to defeat her. That's how the Newton you met in the past came to Tanis. But that Newton had already sealed his memories before you met him, so you knew him as Newt. Both Neldo and Newton sent their souls to the past, but in exchange, they had to die in the present. They learned you were our only hope, and went back to the past for you. They sacrificed themselves to bring you here. This Tanis exists 100 years from the Tanis you remember, but it's only been 3 months since Neldo and Newton went back to the past. That's basically the whole story. They risked their lives on a long shot. Also, a Tractatus de Monstrum does exist in this world, but the Tractatus de Monstrum in this world had no will of its own. It was awful. It took 15 years for Jonya and me to conquer the Labyrinth of Refrain, but you managed to conquer it in mere months. Our Tractatus de Monstrum was animate, but not intelligent. It had a soul, but no will. Still, I gave it to the puppet soldiers. As you can imagine, it made the expedition much more difficult. At the time, I did not have the ability to enter the labyrinth. Velcorana reached maturity, and the world fell into chaos. To defend the world, everyone volunteered to wage terrible war against Velcorana. It was during this endless conflict that we managed to find a mysterious red stone. Who created it? And for what reason? Did it just spring up naturally? I can't say. But its power enhanced my time magic and allowed me to directly interfere with time rather than just resetting it. By combining this power with my ability to put souls inside objects, I was able to send a soul to the past. And thanks to that, I created the first loop. I knew putting that soul in the Tractatus de Monstrum would create a time loop, but it was the only way. There are probably thousands upon thousands of souls trapped in the loops I created. That is my sin.
All right. So We'll go back to base. I don't think I'll be enough to actually afford the,
I hear.
Not bad. I need.
My bad.
No. Oh my. No. Oh my.
Yeah, I don't think I have enough. Oh, actually, I have just barely enough. So there you go. I don't think we have any fancy items. Not real. The arcane shoes might actually be something to put on. Oh, I do have a sealed sword, but I don't think I have enough mana to do it now. Oh, I have just enough. Okay, it's something. Anyway, so yeah, I guess that's, so the first time they actually went through the labyrinth, there was no quote-unquote player, and so it was just a bunch of puppet soldiers kind of carrying around a book, which was apparently more difficult. But, I guess that'll be it for right now. Next time we'll go through another labyrinth. I'm the Depressed Eeyore. This was Labyrinth Refrain, Captain of Dusk. See you guys next time.